It is a privilege and an honor to be here with you. When BIANYS first contacted me and asked if I would share our story, my immediate response was, of course. Not because I enjoy this attention or doing this, but because it is an important issue and I feel compelled to help make the necessary changes to improve care. The Brain Injury Association of New York State is proposing a program, improving access to care across the continuum. At this time, I would like to take this opportunity to demonstrate the urgency and the importance of strengthening the quality of care among TBI survivors, caregivers, and families of this vastly growing epidemic. 5 years ago, my family was living the American dream. In an instant, the existence of my husband, Conan, ended abruptly. He was once an honorable U.S. Naval veteran, devoted husband, loving father, electrical engineer, civic leader, and a man of faith, and found his capacities and his abilities altered and diminished forever. Conan's career was soaring to new heights as a private government contractor working for the United States Navy when a deliberate, repeatedly negligent, reckless driver struck his vehicle, sending him down an embankment 70 feet. Conan was then airlifted to Albany Medical Center in critical condition where a multitude of global injuries were discovered. When I first heard Conan sustained a severe TBI, I was paralyzed with fear. What did a severe TBI truly mean? Would he ever be the same again? Would he be able to walk, talk, or even know his family? I know that is what I prayed for, hoped for, and wanted to believe more than anything else. Conan's TBI was first overshadowed, allowing him to fall through numerous cracks within our advanced medical system. The hospital failed to properly evaluate his cognition skills. Upon Conan's discharge, the hospital staff never provided follow-up services, treatment, or made recommendations for any cognitive rehabilitation, even though it was noted that he had bleeding and swelling and bruising on the brain. The extent of the severity of his cognitive neurological dysfunction could have been measured with the aid of a neuropsychological test, but this was not done until much later. What makes my husband's story more astounding is that if hospitals evaluated head trauma properly, my husband would have realized the seriousness of his prior head trauma in past years. After a recovery of 4 months, Conan had ambitions to return to his career. Conan's doctors reluctantly cleared him and said we would not fully comprehend the extent of brain damage until he tried resuming life prior to the crash. In the beginning, I began noticing the symptoms such as the personality and mood changes, the depression, the short and long-term memory deficits. Soon afterwards, I began realizing Conan's injury was far more complicated than I could have ever imagined. The complexity of brain injury is staggering. As issues continue to develop and worsen over time, it would take us nearly 18 months before Conan would be even formally evaluated. Through this process, we have endured losses such as Conan's career, our future financial security, our home, and most importantly, his independence. It is imperative we develop a higher quality rapport with the clinicians about TBI not being an isolated acute event, but rather a process that requires proper evaluation over time. Head injury is not straightforward, and no one fits into that single medical book's definition of a head injury. We need to change the perception of those with TBI injuries, as well as implement and establish a central location in New York State to coordinate the family's care. I ask, why are there 40 neurologists employed at Albany Medical Center and yet not one specializes in TBI? It is my opinion We need to standardize discharge plans for patients with TBI, creating a roadmap for appropriate support. Many times, patients' injuries are overlooked or not prioritized due to other life-saving measures or medical interventions. Unfortunately, survivors like my husband flounder when they are released from hospitals without any guidance, not understanding their injury, lose their family support, and ultimately become isolated and alone. I've lost the past 5 years of my life, precious time and special moments with my children that I cannot ever get back or recapture. I was robbed of these occasions because of having to fight battles no one should ever have to endure. While our road is still uncertain, we desperately need to move on and embark on new beginnings and heal from this life-changing event. Our outcome could have been much different if the available TBI services were easier to access. On behalf of all citizens impacted by a traumatic brain injury, it is my hope our story can help make the necessary changes for a better quality of life. As I conclude, I notice we have many special guests with us. I thank you for your presence today and for providing your support.